Hey everyone, I'm taking advantage of the half-off cold drinks thing in July at Starbucks. This was only $2 something. There's a venti, so you know they try to charge more on those. It was only $2 something, so I'm getting my caffeine, I'm getting my sugar. But like I said, it's a splurge, so I don't do this every day because even if it was like $1, I wouldn't do it every day because what's in it, you know. But take advantage now. I tested everyone. My friend Eric was like, "What?" He's like, "Where you been, girl?" Just because, you know, I know him at work. I'm like, you know what? I don't feel going into why I wasn't there again. But yeah, I was texting everyone about this promotion. But anyway, you guys, I have a love-hate relationship with trying that bank card. I don't know if it's a bank card or what. It's something that's connected to a bank, and it allows you to get your paycheck early, like 2 days early. I've had it since maybe last year, but originally I was sending my whole direct deposit to them, and then then I changed it back and I said, okay, just send them, put 100 of the deposit on there and then put the rest of it to my credit union card. That just makes it more organized for me, just because I know my credit union card is where my main savings was. I mean, you know, things happen, but I also have a savings. Well, wait, let me get to that in a minute. The savings on my credit union card, and then bills and stuff come out of that card. So I know, okay, I can't play with my credit union card unless everything's paid. And because it's a regular bank type card, it takes a few days for it to kind of post and all that. Whereas sometimes with Chime and stuff, things post faster. So that's the thing I like about it. I also like Chime's savings feature because it what is it called? It rounds up whatever you didn't spend for every dollar. So if you buy something for $18.50, it rounds up to 19, and the 50 cents goes to your savings. When I had Bank of America when I was in school, I liked that feature because if you're a student, they have that feature on the accounts. But then they stopped it for some reason. I don't know what happened, or something changed about it. I don't know. But I was so happy when I heard that Chime had that, so I was like, oh, okay. So it sends me to your savings, so automatically your savings is building in addition to whatever you put in it. So I like that. I also like that. Yeah, like I said, things don't take long to clear. They have the standard posting times, but it doesn't take long to it's like you don't have to use Instacart. They pre-authorize for more than what your total. So if you buy something for $40, if your Walmart order is $40, they'll authorize to $55 or $60, just to make sure that whenever changes happen, you're covered. Then you get the difference back to your account that night with Chime. I don't know how these other cards work, but I guess it's whatever standard timings that banks have, because they even say it could take so many days to go back to your account. But with Chime, it doesn't. It comes that night or the next night or whatever, next day, morning. I like that. The thing I'm not liking about I like when Uber, if you cancel it, it goes right back. It's almost like you didn't do it. It goes right back to it. You don't have to wait for it to post and then clear or nothing. It just takes it away because you canceled it in time. So I had a thing with Uber recently, maybe a week ago. I ordered an Uber, and I'm having a problem with Uber for going to work. Okay, so a couple of times, if you use a certain route to go to my work, it directs them to some cemetery. Okay, behind the building, way behind the building, not even right behind the building. Because you know how a lot of companies, it takes up a lot of space. It's not just the behind the house type thing or whatever. It's like there's the building, but then there's, you know. So ever since I've been working here, there's always kind of been issues with the navigation, because for the longest time it was directing people to drive me at FedEx, which is right across the street, because something with the address or something how it was. I think it has to do with Google Maps and all that. You know, there's a process to it, like to an address being like, you know, in the system. It doesn't just do it just because you open a business there. It's like it's a process. Eventually, it fixed it, and so now the address comes up and the building comes up and they know where to drop me, right? So I never used Uber until recent, like maybe I want to say in the past few months. I didn't use Uber, I used Lyft more. Uber does sometimes have cheaper prices, depends on where you're at. Lyft sometimes has cheaper prices, depends on where you're at. So I just play by ear, I check both of them. But something I'm not liking about Uber too is that there's a few things I don't like about Uber. One is I don't like how they, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, they have a thing where if they have to wait for you, like even a minute or two, they charge onto it. Like it's like, so it'll be like a quarter or something, 50 cents, I don't know. But your order may start off, your quote may start off at $10 for the ride, but it'll end up being 12 or something. But I think it depends on the driver and how, when they say that they're there, when they arrive, which obviously that's that's kind of, if it's a sketchy driver, they're gonna be like, oh, I just got here, and it's like they're not even, you know. Some also, I was looking at Reddit the other day, and some people are also saying that some of them will claim they're looking for you because they know it's ticky. As far as I know, Lyft doesn't do that. Lyft waits till like 5 minutes. You have like 5 minutes, and then they start charging, or the driver can just leave if they want. And that goes for like 2 stops too. Like if you go to a first stop at McDonald's or whatever, you have 5 minutes. If it doesn't, then see, I wouldn't do that for McDonald's and stuff. I would just get dropped off there and then I call them later. For like certain things, if it's like along my route, I may say, oh, just go to Circle K real quick, and then. So I don't know. Lyft might be doing it too. I don't know, because, like I said, if they put that they're already arrived, it starts ticking then. So it's like they may not even turn into the plaza yet, but they're like, oh, I'm here. So that takes off your time that you have. So I kind of don't like that they let the drivers kind of dictate that, because obviously the driver can be, you know, desperate right now because of the economy and everything, and they're doing those shady things. And I don't put it past anybody. So again, so like I was saying, if you take a certain route, it directs you to the cemetery instead. And the only reason I knew that before is because one of the drivers told me that, and then he figured it out and he went around. So this specific driver, he picked me up. First he got on the freeway instead of just going down Riverside and turning onto I forget what the street was that every other driver takes, Lyft or Uber. Then you get off at Cedar, and then Cedar is the route that if you don't turn down a specific street on Cedar right away, you go straight, and that's what will maybe take you to the cemetery. So I was just like, okay, maybe he'll figure it out, but even if he doesn't, I'll know when to tell him to keep going or whatever. So this dude turns on the street, and he kind of was just like, okay, and this is it or whatever. And I was like, this isn't the address, like this isn't the building. And he kind of didn't know, because I think he didn't speak English good. So he had one of those things where the person speaking English talks into that thing that, and tells them like what, you know, you're saying. So he speaks Spanish, not Spanish, he spoke like Chinese or something, and the thing tells him. I didn't even know these things existed until I had that incident when I was at that, throwing that ish out at that sanitation place, and that guy had one, and I was like, oh, it's a translator thing. But even that's irrelevant, really, because it still has nothing to do with the fact that he didn't know what I was talking about. So I was like, this isn't the address. Like, you're just dropping me here. Like, and he said, but it says it. So, okay, it does say it, that's, because if he was the only one who did tell me that, I wouldn't have had an issue. I would have been like, okay, it's an issue with Uber's maps or whatever. Or the driver's map, or I don't know, whatever they're using. Usually, from what the drivers tell me to do, the apps have an in-house navigation thing that you may use Google Maps or they may use some other. I don't know if a lot of them don't use their own. But this brings me to my issue with Uber and Lyft. Uber and Lyft has a problem with they just automatically assume that the driver was in the right and the person's in the wrong, and the person put the address wrong, and the person did this wrong. How are you going to tell the driver, passenger, that who's been there multiple times that they're not right with what address they're putting in? I mean, obviously they know. Like, it was just like, okay, so he drops me there, right? And I'm like, this wasn't even a thing, so I'm complaining everything at the end. Uber was like, basically like, that they weren't gonna refund me at first. They were like, well, he took you there, he took your address. Like, I was like, but that's not the address. And I told him like the name of the place and everything, and it was not that place. And they were just trying to give me the runaround. But they did say they were gonna refund me that little extra-ish you shouldn't have got anyway, because your little, you know, the little thing they do with if it takes them longer to get there, or like they have to wait or whatever. Which I don't get it. If he picked me up at the time at this place, at the train, how he even got $2 more. So he got like 12 something. So they were going to refund that, but they weren't going to refund the 10 something. So I was like, right to my Chime app, I was like, okay, I'm contesting this. I emailed the guy, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to contest this as fraud. Good day, you know, this and that. And I don't know what they said, because I never looked at the email they sent me back. And then, so, because to me, honestly, Lyft would have made it right. Lyft would have just, because I dealt with Lyft with similar things in the past, Lyft would have just made it right. They would have been like, okay, we see there was an issue here. They might have fought with you at first, because they do try to fight with you too. At the beginning, it's like they automatically have their system say, no, there's no refund here, because then once you start producing screenshots or just fussing with them, then they're like, okay, yeah, we see where the error was or whatever. Because like I said, I was having problems with the navigation going to this address before. Since I started working there. So I knew that what to do, the protocol, but I never had dealt with it with Uber. So I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of stupid. Like, why don't you just take, understanding that I've had other people drop me here from Uber, and this is not the place where I'm dropped off. And I don't know if they were trying to make it right or what, but I finally just yesterday or the day before, the day of, I tried to do it, but you can't do it until the transaction posts. So until then, it's like a pending charge. They don't know. The bank doesn't know if the merchant is gonna retract it or what. So they don't do anything until it posts. So it's been posted for maybe a week or a few days. So I was like, I'll go back to it, but I never did because all this other drama with work and just everything else going on. I never went back to it. I was like, F it, I don't give a fuck, because he got me near there. I was trying to justify it again, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna justify it because there's something wrong with how their maps are. And I told them the thing, how you gonna penalize the driver or the passenger for, you shouldn't really penalize the driver either, but because it's something with their own map system that they're not straightening out. So I went to try, but I thought it was a long shot, just because it's like, technically, that's what came up in his phone, in his map says where to drop me. And I didn't have proof of what his phone showed or anything. But all I had proof of is that on my other visits, this is not the address, and that Uber didn't make it right. Uber needed to make it right. So Chime hit me back up yesterday, but they said it could take so much time to get it figured out. They hit me up, and I was like, oh god, let me see what they said, because we have our decision and everything. And they're like, oh yeah, we see there was an error here, blah blah blah, and I think because they get the information from Uber or whoever, and I don't know if Uber had already tried to make it right prior or what. Obviously not, because I just got credited back yesterday when Chime got involved. So they were gonna literally hang on to that $10, like, nah, you know, it's not our fault. And like, I just get tired of these gig apps, like, kind of being that way to their customers, but also how they do their drivers too, because they're not caring about the driver getting the $10. They're just caring about their own, like Uber getting it, because the drivers tell me all the time, I'm like, oh, we only get this much of it or whatever. Don't get me wrong, I do think some of them do make decent money with it, because some of them tell me, yeah, like, they work regular 9-to-5 jobs, but they get about, you know, it depends on how much they devote to it, but some of them tell me to get hundreds and a lot doing Uber and Lyft, just doing a week. But that's like probably devoting a day or two to it. And this guy at work was even telling me, well, he told me he works where we work, and then he works at another job, and then he does Instacart sometimes. And he was just telling me how to do it, like how he's like, when you get your car, like, dude, this is what you do. On Sundays, do this and that and the other. I was like, yeah, I was thinking about doing Instacart when I get my car. I couldn't do Lyft with Uber, because I just feel like if it went beyond like a little mile here, a mile there, I would be just like, why are you putting your feet up? Shout out to Kanisha. Kanisha told me she puts her feet up in the car, and she's like, I don't care, I tip good. If they have anything to say, they don't usually care because I tip good. I'm like, but I'm the type that's like, I don't care how much you tip in your car. But, you know, so the point is, I was basically going to just take the L, which I feel like I didn't deserve. I just feel like with that experience with work, and then also the experience with this, I just feel like people get away with too much. Like, and you have to be your own spokesman with things, because no one else is going to do it. I remember, like, when I was young and stuff, my mom was like that, you know. She would speak up about things like that, things in public stores, or, you know, she would speak up like, if, oh, why was my card debited, blah blah blah, you guys are freaking fraudsters and all that. She wouldn't use that language I just used. She would say that, she would call them out. And I remember me and my brother, we would like kind of crack up, like, oh my god, this is embarrassing, or this and that, but it really makes sense. It's like, if you don't do it, they're just gonna get away with it again and again and again. And the issue is, I didn't like the way Uber handled it. Like, I thought that they were just, I really honestly feel between the two, I don't think either one's that great. I think both of them have their flaws, Lyft too. But stop acting like the passengers are also just on the wrong all the time. Like, okay, because the point is, Uber and Lyft, I've had issues with Lyft too, and I had issues where people didn't show up, or they showed up but they didn't see me or whatever, and then they still took it upon themselves to, like, one guy literally drove all the way to the drop-off and then said he dropped me off. And it was like, what? And like Lyft was like believing it that he went, and I don't know what happened, but somehow I had screenshots or whatever, and they just were like, oh, okay, we see what happened, you know, like. But the thing is, if I hadn't spoke up, they would have just taken this guy, and that was totally him scheming them. I could care less if they scheme Lyft, but you're not gonna scheme me, because that's a thing, you know. And so that's why, like, it's, I don't know, I just don't like how Uber did that, because seriously, dude, it was daytime, but you dropped me off in a freaking, you know, cemetery. That shit creeps me out. I'm into true crime, but that ish creeps me out, just being near a cemetery like that in the dark, you know. Well, I mean, it was light, like I said, but if it had been at night, and just the fact that they were gonna refund me the little extra that he shouldn't have got anyway, like, what? And then, I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm glad that Chime jumped on it and did it, because Uber wasn't gonna do it, I don't think. Like I said, when I get to my point where I'm like, don't contact me no more, like, F all that, I don't even look at their email no more. Like, I was just like, they already knew they were gonna try to give me that BS, like, we looked at it, you know, and it's just their little chatbot thing anyway, so I ain't gonna try to argue with a computer. I'm just gonna be like, no, let me just contest this. I always heard that if you contest, like, against Uber and Lyft, that they try to close your account after. But my Uber's still open, as far as I know. I'll keep you guys posted because they've been sending me. They just recently sent me a email saying, no, what is that thing called? A text saying if I want to complete my registration to drive. I was like, why did you apply for that? Is the reason why I think they got mixed up though is because I think if you go on, I was looking for the complaint thing for that to get that money back, and I was just hitting up all the different tabs. So I probably went on the wrong one. They just, once you visit it, they just figure, you know. So, but yeah, you guys, whatever, Uber, like, you guys are freaking. But I don't even care if they did, because, you know, I still have Lyft right now. I just gotta be a good girl whenever I Lyft. Like, I was telling my friend at work, I was like, you know, you talk at work, and we were all, like, just complaining about Uber and Lyft. Well, I just gotta be good for a couple more, you know, a couple months, and, and then I'm good. Not have to use them anymore. But, yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, I'm glad I reached out to them, because I didn't have a lot of faith in you guys trying, because I got a reputation going, and I never had no problems with trying, but I know they had an incident like a week ago with the thing went down. They didn't know, no one was notified. People were like in line, embarrassed. They put stuff back because everything was broken down, and they didn't even say nothing. But that day, I think I actually did go out, but I used my other card. But I always use Chime in anyway because my Lyft and Uber comes through there. So that's why I was like, oh-ish. It could have happened to me, so I know people were stressing their mad. I mean, you guys could at least give us like a $10 like credit to our account just for the inconvenience, like, or the people, especially once you had to put groceries back, or I don't know what they did, but it wasn't letting anyone do transactions at that moment. So a lot of people were like, what the F, Chime? I went on their Twitter because I was like, I heard Twitter was blowing up. I was like, let me go see what they're saying. But anyway, guys, I'm about to head to Chinatown in a minute. I haven't been there in a minute. I'm gonna go to my place, my little Hop Wheel, give me some dinner. Oh my God, somebody got, oh, they got those drinks, those refreshers. I love that, like that part of it. I would go in there and get one to go, and it would only be $2. But I would have to carry it on the train and everything, and I don't want to be bucking all that around. And then once the refresher melts, like the ice, it's like carrying this sticky thing around. It's okay. I'll get it next time. Last time I got, ooh, this is 26 ounces, you guys. Last time I got it, I got it, one for home and one, and then it took me like a minute to even get to the other one because I just was like, so. Anyway, guys, I'm going to bid adieu. I'll be back. I'm just gonna go to Chinatown real quick. Before dark, I don't like going at night. That was the time, last time I was at Chinatown Station, I fell because I misstepped, and so I gotta be careful. Just even walking at that station. But yeah, I'm about to head there. Alright, you guys. I will talk to you guys later. Bye!